how was Pee-wee's Big Holiday ever made? With the release of Pee-wee as himself, which dives into the past and controversies of the man behind the character Paul Reubens, they briefly touch on the third and final Pee-wee film, but there is so much more to the story. Judd Apatow, who would eventually co-produce the film with Reubens, had been pestering Pee-wee for years to try and get a Pee-wee movie made. And as the doc explains, it wasn't until Reubens would put back on the Pee-wee suit for his Broadway show that he was then open to the idea of continuing the Pee-wee legacy. But this was all easier said than done. In 2010, Reubens would start working on a script with Paul Rust under Universal. But then 4 years went by with essentially no new updates. However, out of nowhere in 2014, Netflix bought the rights to the film, and after then, it was quickly out of development and went right into production. Now, there are a couple reasons as to why these 4 years happened. Reubens said it was because the script got leaked a bunch of times and they consistently had to make tweaks. Now, personally, I don't find a Pee-wee script leak to be that detrimental to a film's development, but this is Paul Reubens we're talking about. I don't know how he works. Now, another reason is because Paul Reubens didn't think Pee-wee would work if it was an old guy, so they needed to wait for de-aging technology to kind of advance to the point that he was looking to use it. Now, the third and final point, I have to do a little bit of speculation, so this isn't confirmed, just so you understand, but the documentary made it very clear that Pee-wee did nothing wrong, and it was essentially just a witch hunt to ruin the guy's reputation. But this movie came out 10 years ago, and the public consensus around Paul Reubens wasn't necessarily what it is now. So with that said, I think Universal was actually extremely hands-on with the project, which made it impossible to get the movie out of development. And then, what do you know, once Netflix came around, they were a little bit more hip to the situation and understood what was actually going on. And so then once they had the rights, they took the project out of essentially a forced development. Now, I don't like that it's on Netflix because I can't get a physical copy of the movie, but it's a damn good Pee-wee film. All right, that's all for today. Follow for more.